Chapter 1. The Cold Awakening. The world is still blue and gray when I open my eyes. My bones ache before I even stand up. My name is Thomas, and in this year of our Lord 1346, the shadows are longer than they used to be. Every morning, before the cock crows, I lie in the dark and listen to the silence of the village. My wife, Elena, is already stirring, her hands rough from the wool she spins. My joints crack like dry kindling as I stand. My back is bent, a permanent curve earned from 20 years of leaning over the anvil. I step outside. The English mist is thick, clinging to the thatched roofs of our village near Portsmouth. You can smell the sea, a reminder that King Edward's fleet is gathering just miles from here. The air is damp, smelling of salt from the English Channel and the charcoal from yesterday's fire. This is my workday, and it begins not with a hammer, but with a prayer and a cold face of water from the bucket. I look at my reflection in the dark water. I am 40, but the forge has made me look 60. My skin is etched with soot that never truly washes away, and my eyes are always slightly red from the smoke. Chapter 2. The Heart of the Village. I walk to the forge. It's a stone building, blackened by decades of soot. My father built these walls, and his father before him. In the Middle Ages, the blacksmith isn't just a craftsman. We are the anchors of civilization. Without us, the plough breaks and the village starves. Without us, the night falls and the kingdom crumbles. The forge is quiet now, cold and smelling of iron and old ashes. It feels like a tomb until I bring it to life. Waking the forge is an art form. I don't use matches. I use flint, steel, and charred linen. It's a slow dance. Clink, clink, spark. Once the glow takes hold, I feed it charcoal. Not wood, never raw wood. Wood burns too fast and too cool. We use charcoal baked in the earth for days by the colliers in the nearby forest. The bellows are the lungs of the operation. As the temperature rises to nearly 2,000 degrees, the forge begins to roar. It's a hungry beast. Today, the air is heavy with the scent of sulfur. As the heat hits my face, I finally feel awake. The warmth is a mercy against the damp English morning. Chapter 3. The King's Shadow. Why the rush today? Because King Edward III is gathering his fleet. Rumors say we are crossing the sea to France. The village is buzzing with the news of the upcoming campaign, which history will later call the Battle of Crécy. Every able-bodied smith in the county has been ordered to produce arrowheads, hundreds of them. The sergeant-at-arms visited me yesterday. He didn't ask, he commanded. The king needs bodkin points. These aren't for hunting deer. These are long, square-sectioned points of hardened steel. Their only purpose is to find the gap in a Frenchman's armor. I have a pile of raw iron bars in the corner, and they must all be transformed into weapons by the end of the week. The weight of the kingdom feels like it rests on my anvil. Chapter 4. The Craft of Iron. I take a rod of iron. I thrust it into the heart of the coals. I wait for the color. This is the secret of my craft, the heat. I judge it by sight. Dull red is for basic shaping. Cherry red is where the iron becomes like clay. White heat. That's the danger zone. If it sparks like a firework, you've burnt the metal. I pull the white-hot rod out and swing the hammer. The first strike is always the loudest. My apprentice, young Will, is sweating at the bellows. His arms are thin, but they are getting stronger. I tell him, Will, every arrow you help forge might save an English life. We work in rhythm. The sound is a language. Each blow must be precise. If I hit too hard, the metal deforms. If I hit too soft, I waste the heat. Chapter 5. The Midday Hunger. By noon, the heat in the forge is unbearable. My leather apron is soaked through with sweat. We stop because the human body can only take so much. Elena brings us lunch. It's not a feast. We eat maslin bread, a mix of rye and wheat. It's hard enough to break a tooth, so we soak it in pottage. The pottage today is mostly leeks, cabbage, and dried peas. If we are lucky, there's a bit of salt pork for flavor. We drink small ale. Don't drink the water, the wells are often foul. The ale is weak, but it provides the calories we need to keep swinging the hammer. As I sit on a stump outside, I watch the village. The farmers are worried. The king's taxes are high, and the weather has been unpredictable. Life in 1346 is a constant struggle between the crown, the church, and the soil. Chapter 6. The Philosophy of the Anvil. Back to the fire. The afternoon is the hardest part. My muscles want to give up. My hearing is fading, a common curse for smiths. The constant ringing of the hammer is a beautiful song, but it leaves you in silence when you go home. I think about the social order. The knights in their glittering armor look down at my soot-covered face. But when their sword notches or their horse throws a shoe, I am the most important man in the county. Iron is the great equalizer. Whether you are a king or a peasant, you need the man who knows the fire. Without the smith, the world stands still. Chapter 7. The Final Quench. The sun is setting, painting the sky in colors that match my forge. I have finished 80 arrowheads today. My final task is the quench. I take the glowing pieces and plunge them into a barrel of brine. The hiss of the steam is the only thanks I get. This freezes the steel, making it hard enough to pierce iron. I bank the fire, covering the coals with ash so they stay warm until tomorrow. I wash my face in the cooling tub, but the soot never truly comes off. I walk home, passing the church where they are praying for victory in France. Tomorrow, I will wake up and do it all again, because the hammer never truly rests. Chapter 8. The Alchemy of the Common Man. Let us talk about the iron itself. You see it as a cold, gray bar, but to me, it is alive. In this year of 1346, we do not have the great blast furnaces of the future. We have the bloomery. To get this metal, men had to dig ironstone out of the wet earth, then bake it in a clay furnace for a day and a night. What comes out is a bloom, a glowing, spongy mass of iron mixed with glass-like slag. My task begins with purifying this mess. I have to heat the bloom until it's soft, and then beat it with a 14-pound sledgehammer. Every strike squeezes out the impurities. It is exhausting work. Spark by spark, the iron becomes wrought. It becomes tough, fibrous, and reliable. If I find a pocket of carbon, I can turn it into steel, the diamond of the forge. Steel is temperamental. It remembers every mistake you make. If I quench it too fast, it shatters like glass. If too slow, it stays soft as lead. Chapter 9. The Village Economy. But I don't just make weapons for the king. Most of my day is spent on the mundane. The local miller, Old John, came to me this morning. His mill's main spindle is cracking. If that spindle snaps, the village has no flour. No flour means no bread. And in 1346, bread is life. I also spend hours making nails. You might think a nail is a small thing, but a medieval house is held together by thousands of them. I can make 100 nails an hour when the rhythm is right. Each one is hand-forged, square-shanked, and headed with 3 precise blows. Clink, clink, clink. It is repetitive, mind-numbing work, but it pays the tithes to the church. Without the smith's nails, the carpenter's wood is just a pile of timber. Chapter 10. The Knight's Arrival. Around mid-afternoon, the sound of a heavy war-horse echoes in the yard. It is Sir Richard, a minor landowner who has been called to join the king's vanguard. His armor is dusty, and his horse has thrown a shoe. This is where the social hierarchy of England meets the heat of the forge. He looks down at me from his saddle. He sees a man covered in soot, smelling of sweat and old beer, but he needs me. His expensive destrier is useless if it's lame. I pick up the horse's hoof. It's heavy, smelling of manure and damp earth. I trim the frog, shape the shoe in the fire, and nail it home. While I work, he tells me of the glory waiting in France. He talks of ransoms and gold. I look at his leg guards and notice a broken rivet. I fix it for an extra silver penny. He pays without complaining. In the forge, the soot-stained smith is the master of the night. Chapter 11. The Looming Shadow of the East. While the village dreams of war and gold, there are darker whispers. A traveling merchant stopped by for a new linchpin for his cart. He spoke of a great mortality in the ports of the Mediterranean. He said whole cities are dying in weeks. People here in Portsmouth don't believe it. They think God is on our side because we are winning the war. But as I look at the smoke rising from my chimney, I wonder. We have had bad harvests. The rain has been too heavy. The sheep are dying of rot. Is the iron telling us something? When the metal is brittle, the structure fails. I fear our kingdom might be more brittle than we think. But for now, I focus on the anvil. I cannot fix the world. I can only fix the plow. Chapter 12. The Family and the Future. As evening approaches, my daughter comes to the forge to bring me a jug of water. She is 6 years old, with bright eyes that haven't yet been dulled by the smoke of life. I look at my hands, calloused, burnt, and permanently stained. I don't want this life for my son, Will. I want him to be a clerk, perhaps, or a merchant. But the law of the land often binds us to our father's craft. I teach him the secret of the grain, how to fold the iron over itself again and again to create strength. It is like a family. The more layers of struggle we endure together, the harder we are to break. I tell him to watch the flame. Blue flame means the coal is pure, Will. Green flame means there's copper or filth. Watch the fire and it will tell you the truth. The closing of the workday. The sun has finally dipped below the horizon. The village of 1346 goes to sleep early, for candles are expensive and oil is for the rich. I quench the final batch of nails. The steam fills the room, a white fog that feels like a ghost. I walk out and lock the heavy oak door. My back is screaming in protest. My hands won't fully close because of the cramps. But as I look up at the stars, I feel a sense of completion. I am Thomas. I am a blacksmith. I am the man who holds 1346 together. If I don't wake up tomorrow, the village stops. and that is a heavy but proud burden to carry.